Are we live? I think we are. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to part B of or part two. I said part B. Part two of the RGT podcast. Our special guest, we couldn't get him on for Friday because you guys know it was a big day. Returnal launched. He had to celebrate with the rest of the team on an awesome game and an awesome launch. But he is here today. He's super excited. You guys can see he's glowing right now. We've been talking about this for past couple of days, and I am so hyped to have him with us in our presence. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with the one and only, well, he's known on Twitter as Rustoga. I call him Rudy at this point. He is a UI and motion designer for Returnal and sound designer for Returner. And also he does a lot of other things outside of this. And let's give him a big RGT welcome. Let's go ahead and put RGT Army in the chat. Without further ado, the one and only Rudy. Rudy, how are you doing, sir?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing good, but I gotta be honest that I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know why, but these are the things do excite you. Yeah.
Oh man, see, he said this earlier, and I thought he was joking. I'm the nervous one. I'm in your presence. I'm the nervous one. Well, we got everybody coming up in here. I'll let everybody, just get in here. But while we do that, let's ask you about yourself. What exactly did you do? Like, how are things? How you been this past couple of days?
Last couple of days have been really, really good and great. I gotta admit, I've been a bit more emotional as well because the project is finally out and we can share it with the world, and the reception has been exceptionally good. And I know that within my team and from other people too at Housemarque, it's like, what? This is the moment that it's actually out. So it's really exciting.
All right, okay. So what do you do outside of Housemarque? What got you into it? Well, I'm asking you, what do you do outside Housemarque? I know you do other things and other endeavors.
Yeah, I'm doing audiovisual design. So I do music videos, video editing, then motion graphics. And I do music as well. So pretty much if it's audiovisual, then it's something that I love and I do want to develop myself to be a better. But outside that area, I'd be dead within like 5 minutes. I cannot do even some of the most basic things. But I'm really blessed to be alive at this moment that we have computers.
All right, okay. What exactly led you to Housemarque? I mean, your journey. I know you started off because you do modeling. You do modeling outside of this whole gaming spectrum. I know you said you jumped more so into that before transitioning to gaming. How did that go? Like how that process go? And if you would you explain to the others, like, or would you give an example like how you can get into the gaming industry from that perspective to those that might be interested?
Yeah, totally. It's a rather large topic, and I do have the Finnish rally accent, but we'll do our best to
you sound great,
go
man.
through
Sound
it.
great.
Okay, that's good. Thank you very much. Yeah, so originally I was studying at I think it's called like vocational university or something. It's like not the same thing as university, but one step like lower than that. Mm-hmm. And I was studying and became a music and media manager. So, and then I was doing the exchange period in Belgium, in CORP, it's the name of the city. And then I sort of applied after that back to Finland to do the internship for 2 different places. One of them was a music sort of hall where I would be booking bands and gigs and that sort of stuff. And the other one was Housemarque. So, yeah. And what's something that I want to tell the people and hope that they will find it encouraging as well is that even though if you make mistakes, it's okay. I mean, for the internship cover letter, I wrote the company name wrong 3 times and differently wrong, all of the times. And that was not pretty at all. But when I realized what I had done, I was like super tired and I don't know. I just wrote them like, sorry, I apologize so much. And if you will ever give me a new chance, I promise I will never like write the name of the company wrong ever again. And then they gave me a chance to go to the interview.
No, that's awesome, man. See,
So
look at
yeah,
that, people. Look at that. God is good,
thanks.
man. God is good. You have faith. You believe in yourself. Things can happen. There you go. That's awesome to hear, man. That really is awesome. I know you've been with Housemarque for about 6 years, right? 6 years with the
A
company?
bit more than 6 years at the
More than
moment.
6 years.
Yeah, I started off with an internship. I think that was like 5 months or so, and I first did marketing, like video editing and that sort of stuff. And I think when I started, it was 3 weeks or 1 month,
Mm-hmm.
and the first trailer that I had ever made was shown in one sort of PlayStation event for like tens and thousands of people. I was like
Ah,
literally shitting my pants because it was so scary.
right. Big moment,
But,
right.
yeah,
Oh,
exactly. But
man.
that's how you learn.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it's good.
That's awesome, man. How would you describe your experience with Housemarque? I mean, 6 years. You've been there for a
Yeah,
while. You met a lot of awesome people, learned a lot of awesome new things, got to work on a lot of great games with Housemarque. One of my favorite games, aside from this one that we're going to talk about later, but one of my favorite games from Housemarque is Resogun. So,
oh, that's great.
how's the journey been with Housemarque from start to finish since you've been there?
Yeah, people there, I think that's one thing that really makes the change. And the more and more we're like targeting our aims to be a better company, better for people, have more variety there, and taking these things into our own like very well-being.
Mm-hmm.
So um yeah, I think one thing that was really surprising and good for me or good to me was that Housemarque gave me a chance, even though I knew nothing or could do anything that was like great or different in a way. But
Right, right.
the culture is so good there that if they see you as a human being who's really into eager to learn new things, eager to give it your best and your all, and still be easy to work and communicate with, then that really opens doors. So I think most of all, I feel a lot of gratitude towards the company.
All right, so it has a super welcoming, positive vibe. Basically, is what I'm getting from this as well, right?
Yeah,
Very welcoming. Okay, that's awesome. That
yeah.
is awesome. To the 41 people already watching, go ahead hit that like button. Go ahead share it out. We got him here, the man of the hour. He is here. He is happy. See, look at like he's no longer nervous. He's no longer nervous. Look at we broke that shell. See, I told
Yeah,
you.
it's turning better, man. Thank you, thank you.
All right, so let me go here. Let me go right to the game of show here. While we're here, obviously again, game launched on Friday. Big deal for PlayStation. This is your first. This is Housemarque's first ever AAA game, for PlayStation. So I guess I'll ask you the basics. If you could answer. What is this game inspired by? Would you say that this game is inspired by like I don't know if you've seen the movie Prometheus? It has like a lot of Prometheus vibes from me when I played this. Is it inspired by that or Alien
Yeah,
Covenant? Would you say?
I think there are a lot of different influences that have been and existed inside the main director, like Harry Kruger's heart for a while. But then, of
Mm-hmm.
course, other people have brought their own stuff, their writers, everything. But I would say the cosmic horror, Lovecraft, David Lynch, Beksinski, then the bullet hell games, roguelikes, time loop movies like Triangle, and then, of
Oh.
course, our old games as well. So, yeah, a lot of stuff.
I mean, it's got that. We were talking about this off air, but it's got a lot in common with again Resogun. You get your
Yeah,
abilities. They're like multipliers. You lose them if you get hit. Very similar to Resogun. You got to avoid the little
do that.
strings of bullets and keep it going. And then it's like you have that constant pressure on you because bullets are not just coming at you from front or down, left. They're coming at you from the sides. You have to be very
True.
on your toes. So would you say that that was kind of
It's
like the
hard.
vision in a sense to recapture Resogun, maybe to bring that to the company? Because you guys went with a 3D approach this time around versus the more 2D side scroll, type of thing with Resogun with this one. Would you say?
Yeah, I think you're right in that. Also, in that sort of sense, that the Harry Kruger was also the main guy for that game as well. So, like, he
Mm-hmm.
has brought a lot of that together in this game as well. And then, of course, the similarities in sort of explosions that are sort of eye candy like. Then the bullet hell elements, like you mentioned, and that sort of stuff. So yeah, you could say that. And then one thing in Resogun that I really notice now that I think of it, and in comparison to Returnal, is that you really need to have distinctive features in the background and then what's like in front of you. So even in Resogun, you know that the backgrounds are something that you can trust, that really do not pop too much in front of you when you have something that really is about keeping you alive at the moment. So that's why we have the darkness versus the really bright elements.
Right.
Help and guide the player.
Oh, okay. So, obviously, you guys went with the roguelike game. This is old school. This is going back. Like a lot of games don't go with this style anymore. They usually have like the auto save system or manual saves. I said this to my viewers when we were live streaming it last time. I was like, on some real auto saves are kind of spoiled modern gamers nowadays. Back then, we didn't have auto saves. We really didn't. That's why I love games like, I don't know if you played Alien Isolation. I love that game still to this day.
Yeah. I think I do. Let me just quickly,
it's the first person one. Yeah,
it
was like first person survival horror one for the alien. The alien actually walks around.
Yeah, now I get it. Yeah.
That one was one of the most intense. It was one of the most intense games at that time because if you screw up, you literally go to where you manually saved. It doesn't auto save anything. The only thing it will auto save is probably a death scene. Like, that's the only thing.
That was horrible. I mean, it was too hard for me, man. I'm sort of a coward. I can't play those sort of games alone. Any company. Same thing for like Resident Evil games that I really, really love. But for these 7, I mean, that was in the beginning like too scary for me.
Oh man, so you're not interested in Resident Evil Village? I thought you'd be all in.
I love Resident Evil games, but I just can't play them alone. So I always need company, but I really love them. Yeah.
Okay. What would be your favorite Resident Evil game?
I think I really like the remake that we had from 2.
Resident Evil 2. Yeah, that's a good one. That was a love letter.
Really, really good. That was a love letter. Well said.
Basically, Resident Evil 4 brought to our attention again, but redone in an awesome way.
It was so good.
Start to fit. I love when we get games like that. Just seeing the passion. It really shows in just the quality. And this goes for Resogun. The attention to detail, the sound design. You guys did phenomenal. I mean, it really is top tier. Like when I first played it and I just got to it, and I first died. Like everything from the deaths, it's an experience. You really do feel like, especially you got some headphones on. It's like. It's hard to match. Like you really feel that you guys put that effort. So it was awesome. I really did enjoy. I haven't even beaten the game yet. I'm still talking like I want to jump on it as soon as we're done.
Okay, that's cool. About Resogun, I actually did. Arik Vulcan was the main sound guy for that. I was then doing marketing and also helped with some of the like menu layout graphics. But I did do a couple of voice acting things there, like when you pick up the humans in different sort of skins. I did like a Reaper and some other sounds, so it was a lot of fun that sort of way too.
Okay. To Die For, he dropped a $5 super chat. He says, I just want to thank the entire Housemarque team for a great experience with Returnal. That was a shout out to you. He just dropped in the chat. Thank you to Die. Very, very appreciated of that. Thank you very much. So let me go back to you, for example, here. What made you decide to choose? What made you decide to become a motion/sound designer, or is that something else that you want to do before that? What made you go for that?
Well, I would say this, and this also applies if you're someone who's willing to get into the gaming industry. Is that if you have the passion within you to do the things that you love and really show that out to the world as well, then those are the turning points for you, I would say. So. I've been doing music for 10 years in my free time. Thanks, man. And then besides that, also doing like graphic stuff, video stuff. So combining these elements and then moving away from marketing to do more of these was a dream come true for me. And I'm really grateful that our company gave me a chance to do that. And, like switching careers within one company, that's sort of rare. But then again, if you follow your heart thing,
anything's possible. Right. Anything's possible. You set your mind to it. That's so true. All right. Okay. You're awesome. That's a good question for you personally. So, how long have you been gaming? How long you been gaming in general?
That's a good question. I think since maybe I can say like 6 or 8 years old.
Ah, okay.
I remember going to library to play to play Zelda CD-ROM. You know, the horrible all toasters toast games. You know, the ones that they're really horrible.
Back when games
ones.
were $100.
And then yeah. I couldn't afford them, so that's why I went to library to play something.
Christmas was like shopping for us. We were like, holy hell, is that? Did we get it? It's under the tree.
Yeah. I feel it, man.
All right, okay.
But yeah, really young. The bigger games that I got sort of started off with like my love with first I had these floppy disk games.
Yeah.
I think Doom and some of those, but then I think Final Fantasy IX was probably my first like bigger love.
Ooh, Final Fantasy. We're going there.
Everything.
Okay.
It was so good.
You know, it's crazy how PC gaming has gotten to where it was. I remember back in the 90s when Dino Crisis dropped, and they dropped that on PC. Cool. I played on PC at the time before I got on console, and it was an awkward experience. We didn't have controllers for it, so I'm pressing these keys and I'm shooting and everything. It felt weird, but seeing it, obviously now, it's moments like that shape you, I guess you can say. When you play it and really see how it is, later down the road, the old school experiences. Like back before we had the stores and the systems, we had demos on disc. You remember those? Remember those days?
Ooh, it was awesome, man. And the music in that was like, I haven't heard that sort of music in a while. It was like acid sort of electronic something, but stuff. Like super weird.
Oh man, that was true. We did. We had that stuff. Oh man. So since you've been gaming for, over since you were 8, I gotta ask this. What is your favorite console of all time and why?
That's a good question. I think I sort of skipped first some generations for consoles. So PlayStation 2 was my first, and after that, I got like PlayStation 1 and then Super Nintendo and so on. So it was sort of weird in that sort of order but then again, I played the other consoles in my friends' places.
That's what we called it. We that was literally the strat back then, right? Like if you have an Xbox and they got a PlayStation, go over there and party over their house. Yeah. And we would always do that. That's true. That was the strat.
Okay. But I would say that PlayStation has a very special place in my heart because I love the good trust on that. At least in my experience, the games didn't crash that often, and I remember having a lot of issues with like old PC. But you knew that if you buy something, you could play that on PlayStation. So
yeah,
I think that would be my choice. Yeah.
Oh, okay. God, going back to the PlayStation, it's crazy you said PlayStation has a big place in your heart. It has one for me. Sony is what got me into platformers. Crash Bandicoot, when it first dropped on PlayStation 1, was the game. That was actually the game that brought me to PlayStation at that time. I was like, dude, this game looks insane. You got the little iceberg, the ball coming at you, and it looks 3D, and you got to jump these platforms. Yeah. That was so cool. And then playing all the way to 2. Awesome experiences. Awesome. Then I jumped to Xbox, then went to PS2. I mean, I was all over the place, but that was how cool gaming is. You thrive. You go to different platforms. Yeah. You have options. That's absolutely true.
Like Halo there.
There you go. So what would be your biggest inspiration that got you into gaming industry?
I think I could say that for me, games have always given a lot of more than just a casual gaming experience in a way. And to me, it was the whole culture, the friends that I got with the gaming, and so on. Like without that world, I think I would have been all alone in a way. So it was more, I don't know if I could like religionist experience or something. Mm-hmm. It really filled me with that sort of purpose. And then I wanted to go and get even more into that and give more back to people and give back more to the gaming that has given me so much.
Oh, okay. So what would be golly, that's awesome. What would be the like if I was to ask you, if there was a game in particular that you would want to see on the the PS5, come back completely remade, what would be the game that come to mind? And we're just going back all the way through your years of gaming. It doesn't have to be something that recently dropped or nothing. I'm talking just anything in your wildest dreams that you would want to see back remade for PS5.
That's a really good question. I'm curious about Final Fantasy VIII, and I'm also curious about Final Fantasy IX because those were the first games in that sort of era. Then of course Chrono Trigger, maybe one of those. Maybe one of those. How about you?
For me personally, game to bring back. There's so many. There's so many awesome games to bring back. That's the thing. So many awesome ones. Even though it's not gonna happen, because I already know what the company. I don't know if you played Capcom versus SNK 2. Man, that's one of my all-time favorites. I wouldn't mind seeing that back. But if we're talking about just another like standalone game, to see returned, let me think about that one. Hold up. God, there's so many. I had it for a second. I just lost it. Hold up.
It's all good, man.
I'll probably say Dino Crisis. Absolutely, Dino Crisis.
Oh yeah.
There you go. We'll go with Dino.
That's a great choice.
It's hard. It's hard, man. You got so many games. But since we're on that topic, what is your 5 top games of all time?
That's good. I'm going to ease away in a way that I would say like the Final Fantasy games have been really awesome to me.
Okay.
I've loved those pretty much. I did like Tekken 2. Tekken 2 was amazing, or was it maybe 3? It was the 3, the one with the small dino.
Tekken 2, you said? Oh, that's Tekken 3. You talking about that's Tekken 3. Yeah, Tekken 3. Okay.
I love that. Resident Evil whole franchise. I've even played the weird ones that had like DLC expansion.
Yeah,
chapter by chapter.
The weird Resident Evil was Outbreak. I still to this day don't understand what was the purpose of Outbreak. It was so weird. Different approach to the game. It's like, what is this team-based thing? What is this? I don't get it. It made no sense to me. So okay, Resident Evil.
It was interesting. It was really interesting. I mean, because I love their games so much that I really wanted to go with that as well. And I still have to play the second version of that. I think they made some sort of weird thing, but I'm not sure about buying the different chapters like one by one. That I'll find out. Yeah.
Okay. Got 2 more. What's your last 2?
Oh damn.
You named 3.
That's good. One special game that really was in my heart for a long time was Harry Potter 1, PlayStation 1. I mean, we had it in Finnish version, and the voice acting was like super shady in a way, but that's what made it so good. Like, it was like really literally like, the voice acting and then hitting your head against the wall all the time and just weird. It was a good, profound experience. Then SSX Tricky. I love that game. Super snowboarding, extreme tricky. Yeah, that was really, really good. It was so beautiful. And then Tony
I still remember the trailer for that. That's how good it was.
You do?
I do remember the trailer.
That was good.
He was doing the worm on the board while it's in the air.
Yeah. The song there. Yeah.
I do remember that. That was funny. Funny you mentioned Harry Potter because we have Hogwarts. I think it's called Hogwarts Legacy, something like that. I forgot the name of it. Hogwarts. Is that a game up your alley? You looking forward to that? Hogwarts?
Yeah. Cheers. I want to try it out. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
How about you?
Oh yeah. I'm a big Harry Potter fan. Love the books. Love the film.
Cool.
Yeah. Love that world.
I love them too.
So that's another cool thing. Shout out to Sal for joining the channel members, bronze tier. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you. One second. Make sure I get my notes here. Okay. So we asked that. Constant. We asked that. Okay.
I'm thinking.
So, what'd you say?
Mind if I get some things? I was thinking about like tips for people getting into the gaming industry. Okay, thank you.
Okay, go right ahead.
So the first thing I would mention is that get friends, not contacts. A lot of people, like if we have any sort of gaming meetings where you have the actual developers there, like in Finland we do have. One of them is called IGDA, International Gamers Developers Association. So that usually you might have like students there, and then you have the actual developers, and they're in different sort of groups, and then the students just come there to like, hey, here's what I do, here's my contact card. I try to make it sort of a awkward version of business instead of just getting to know people, like try to make friends instead of contacts. So I think that would be my number one thing. And number two would be indie game jams, competitions, hangouts.
Ooh.
Those are the biggest things. Yeah, because when you do the game jams, you actually do games and you meet a lot of people who then become possibly your friends and
right
in the future.
Industry. Right, of course.
So, yeah, exactly.
Right.
And when they get hired somewhere, they might remember you and
can use you as a reference.
So
that's true.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Build relationships. Build friendships. There you go.
Exactly.
There you go. So
then one more, if it's okay.
I'm sorry, make a joke. Go ahead. You fine.
Thank you. Cool. The last one I would say is that the marketing and the PR people are working a different job usually than the developers. So if you go to them, they might be interested about what you have to say, but still what they have to offer might be totally different than you speaking to some like developer about something instead. So it might be obvious, but I just decided that I'll speak about them nevertheless.
Right. A lot of people might think, okay, he's just a developer on this side. That means he knows what's going on that side. And it's like, nah, that's not how it works. You guys are responsible for your said field of work is. So
exactly. Well said.
So let me go back to Returnal. I mean, big game. We got to highlight Returnal. So obviously we're old school gamers. We've been through a period where there was no save points, there was no autosave. What would be the best way that you would tell people who are new to this type of experience to approach the game? How would you coach them into approaching it?
I would say be patient like a training Jedi. Like really, really, really little by little.
Don't give it to your
and like yeah, exactly. And immerse yourself to the story. Take breaks if possible in a way, because I've noticed that whenever I get to, I don't know if the word is like aggravated or something, but I start to make more and more mistakes, and those lead me downfall, and then really sucks. And one other thing would be that you're playing the game, try to keep the long-term plan in mind instead of short periods. Right. Like I noticed when I was watching you on that one episode that you really had the grade, I think, as a gamer, if you die, you're like, okay, that's cool. Now I'm better. And you came back, learned more of that thing, and then like mixed the things like that. That was beautiful to watch.
So thank you. I appreciate that. That's what Souls games have done to me. Like I credit Bloodborne as one of my favorite games for PlayStation on the PS4 because it got me into the Soul-esque games that led to, and I platinum Bloodborne. I went platinum Neos, all the Neos, and then Demon Souls. I'm on that right now with part 3.
Me too.
That's another. Oh, you see, got a Souls guy. There you go. But
I'm
Souls
so bad at that game, but I love it.
Yeah, exactly. I try to tell my chat that. They go, how can you play a game where you're just clearly getting destroyed? And I'm like, well, it's not really about that, right? It's that sense of just accomplishment when you lose and you come back and you beat it, the boss, and he's like, yes, I did this. What else can I do in this game type of thing? It's like you get that feel.
actually, something that was a point I was supposed to make also about like how to become a developer. You need to have exactly that attitude, because if you have that, then whatever you're doing, you'll get past that. Because all the points when all the letdowns, all you hitting your head against the wall, will be like, yeah, you will get there.
Right. It's like
it was
life.
Really great that he said.
That's true. Life throws curveballs at you. It's going to knock you to your lowest point, but you got to get up and you got to chase your dream. You got to keep going. You got to have that positive mindset to get you through the bad. So I try to tell people that all the time. With this channel, I started YouTube 4 years ago, and I had no idea that I'd be almost at 10K. So it just it happens. You just fail yourself. So I'm glad you see. Great. There you go. I didn't even know you was a Souls fan. See, there you go. I'm already bonded with him that much more. See, that much fun.
Yeah, it does a lot. It does a lot. Those games.
So, you have any tips for anybody who's playing Returnal? Like anything to look out for? Any particular weapon that you would personally go to for this game?
That's a good question, because I really have to admit that I suck at this game, like hard. I know it's surprising, but if I would be QA, then I could, probably play the game hands tied or whatever. But as in UI side and UI animator, I'm the worst in our team. I might be probably worst gamer in our whole company. So I heard that a lot of people use grenade launcher and really dig that. Then, of course, or some things for the beginners that if you have the first weapon,
right,
it can be relatively okay if you just if you have fast fingers, because that's something I haven't noticed in too many other games, that the faster your fingers are, the more rapidly you will be shooting the enemy.
That pistol, I was like, this pistol's gonna be the death of me.
I can't
do it with the pistol, but I like the carbine. The carbine ended up being one of my all-time favorites till you get to the second biome. When you get to the second biome, you get the Hell Sweeper, I think that's what it's called. Hell Seeker. So that was the other cool one as well, but that's cool. That's you would do it. Okay, so there we got that out the way. In terms of like we were talking about how you approach it, but in terms of just like the way it goes, again, it goes back down to old school play, right? So since it goes back down to that old school play, would you say that this game is a little bit more, I would say it's more of a risk rewards type of game for those types who are new to this type of experience, would you say? Definitely new.
Yeah, I totally agree. A lot of things, a lot of mechanisms there. A lot of mechanisms there are also for that, like risk or reward. And you usually in this game you have to really risk it to get the biscuit. So yeah, right. I feel it.
Okay. Man, I don't even know how you guys did these bosses, but what was the inspiration for a lot of these bosses? I mean, they're so cool. They're so unique in their own way. They have their own identity. They're not like, they don't feel like a carbon copy of another. Each have their own special abilities, their own cool effects, different, attacks. How would you say that came about? Like for the style, I would say. Not necessarily how it was made, but the style. Like what inspired that, would you say?
I would say that, that's a good question. I would say that a lot of cosmic horror elements and a lot of symbolism. Like the game is full and filled with different sort of, symbolism, different things that we're trying to tell you without saying it like straight up. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these enemies and bosses are also filled that sort of aspect in mind. Mm-hmm. And creating games that, like, I've seen the concept artists, it's so blast watching when we were back in the office, like watching these guys, like if you go to the marketing areas, like, lights are on and, people talking to each other with bright sort of thing. And then when you go to the concept art side, it's like people, all the curtains closed down. There's darkness everywhere. Some people listening to, like, I don't know, black metal or something while just drawing death and skulls.
Okay. So everybody just had their own motivation towards these style of bosses, basically, something tricked them. That's cool. Also, that's awesome. That's awesome freedom right there. That's really cool. That it came to you guys. It wasn't like, oh, you guys had this immediately. It was just like random things triggered each particular boss type of thing. That's cool. That's really cool.
And then the Harry Kruger, the main guy, and that's sort of the game director. He also had a great vision about things. I think that's one of his biggest things, is that he really has the picture in his head, and then he tries to have meetings enough and have to speak with enough people to really get them grasp what we are searching for.
Right. Put what he's thinking on paper. Right. Of course.
Exactly. Yeah.
Of course. That's the tough part. That's definitely the tough part of getting what exactly you're talking about onto on the paper. That's cool, man. I'm sorry, I got $5 super chat from Joey Batts. He says, and this is for you, he says, any plans for autosave feature upon exiting the game? If you want to play something else for a bit, then pick the game back up where you left off. More than likely, that's not going to be added. But, of course, you think there might be plans for that? Would you want something like that for the game? Actually, I don't even want to ask, do you think, I'll say, would you want something for the game? I'll reiterate that.
Yeah, that's a good reiteration. I think it's interesting, and for myself as a bad gamer, that could be useful. But then again, I also understand that I feel that this is one of those games that I do relate to Souls-esque games that you just have to get good in a way. I'm not that good, so that's why I can say.
He said it. I didn't. He said it, not me. He said get good.
And I can say that because I suck at. I'm probably worse than all of you. Like any of you, I'm worse than you guys are in that lane. So, and I have to get good.
I got like 138 games platinum on PS5, PS4, and all that. Oh. So I put a lot of time. But again, it comes down to just time you put into it. I know you're busy making them. You're doing other things. Obviously, I don't fault that at all. But at least you're enjoying it, right? You got enjoyment out the game. You play the Souls games. You see what it's about. The feel of what it's like to beat a boss after losing to it what feels like 90 times. You come back and beat it. You beat it. So that's the cool part about that. It's just a triumph. Joey Bass dropped another 3. He said, this game is amazing, by the way. He calls it fire. So
thank you very much.
There you go, Joey.
Glad you like it.
Got one from Fotek. I'm just going to say Fotek. I dropped a 5. He says, great guest, Big Cloud. Many thanks to him and the team for bringing such an awesome and challenging game into being. So that was from Fotek.
Thank you so much.
There you go. You guys are humble, man. I'm telling you, man. You guys are awesome. I mean, seeing just the jump from a game like Resogun, which I remember when it first came out on PS4, like my eyes lit up. I was like, there is no way a side scroller can look this good on PS4. And then seeing what you guys just did with this in your first ever AAA game, it's mind blowing. Like the sound. And I want to go, and I'm glad I mentioned it because I want to go into sound. What was the inspiration for the sound for this game? It sounds so good. Like I'm getting, again, like we said before, with the Prometheus vibes, the Alien Covenant type of vibes. What exactly was the inspiration of the sound for like the creatures, the world? Everything is so unique, you know what I mean? Like in its own way, from the environments, the creatures, the weapons themselves. What was your inspiration for this? What'd you say?
I think in that sort of case as well, a lot of sci-fi games, of course, but we didn't want to go to the normal approach in that, but find something totally new and different.
Mm-hmm.
One person that really was in, how should I say, like the main boss, so would be the Luik Gutier. I might say the name totally wrong, but I mean, he's the saving guy from PlayStation that was like really, really, really helping us to put all the things together. And I would say that he's masterful ideals, and then for the other people, it was like how to implement them, but also, of course, have your own juices there. Mm-hmm. And Toivo Kallio was one guy who was working with the Foley, so recorded sounds and other stuff as well in the game. And I think really the efforts of all of the sound team made the difference. And of course, because it's for PlayStation 5, it had to be something next level. And also like haptics. I love the haptics.
Yeah. I love that too. That is another awesome thing with haptics, like the way the triggers lock and you feel it with each gun.
Yeah.
That's really
immersive. I remember I was doing I remember doing the prototypes for that first time, like touching the haptics and learning that they were actually sound instead of just motors.
Right.
So yeah, it was
Because
super
you can feel
interesting.
like I was telling the guys about that earlier when we were playing.
Yeah,
You can feel subtle vibrations like from raindrops in the triggers as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
And I was like,
exactly.
dude, these guys are gonna kill it in the future because with VR being a big thing for PlayStation, I can see immersion being even more pushed to the T. With the bigger broad view with the headset and obviously with the haptics, I can see a lot of crazy stuff happening. But you guys really were crazy with this. I was like, good God, they went all out. I'm hearing voices. I'm hearing all this. Like, oh man. And the cool thing about it is you guys are just starting. We just start the
Yeah,
gen.
yeah,
We're not even at the end, and it's the cool part about the whole thing. So, all
yeah. I
right.
feel people have a lot of energy about that, and really, really, really are interested in making it bigger, making it maybe giving more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, feel it.
Oh, okay. So as a dev, would you say that the DualSense is probably the best thing about the PS5 that you're the most excited for, or is it stuff like the SSD? Because I know, the no load time's a good thing here. It looks cool where you guys transition to a different world when you hit the telepods to other spots. Is that the more thing you're excited for?
The speed has been really good, and the loading times are pretty much, much, much better. Like it seems that there are no loading times in a way, so that is
Yeah.
super exciting as well. Um, yeah, I'm just really curious to see what the future games will bring to the table
You
as well. I
you
would
and me
say that
both,
the
man.
yeah,
Hopefully
yeah.
we get a sequel for this. This would be cool. We get Returnal 2, and then you guys even do even bigger things. I mean, I know you guys are gonna knock it out the park. You guys are really, really talented people. Let me tell you, it was each
Sure.
death. I was
A lot
getting
of, lot of
Bloodborne vibes, but I was like, that's what I love about this. I want more. Let's go. We back at it and we beat a boss. So that's the best part about it.
I feel it. I feel it.
Do
That's
you
cool.
think there should be more games like this in the industry, like rogue like games? Even though you rarely hear that term rogue like, right? That kind of just came to being with this game's launch. But do you think more games should follow this model of no load time, or not? I'm sorry, not load times, no auto saves, no manual saves. Do you think more games should do that?
I think it would be cool, but that then really needs a specific sort of design that really rewards you, even though you will die and even though it will be hard, but something that will be given to you, like despite that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then again, I also think about markets like what sort of games are the ones that will actually sell. So I know
Mm.
that there are a lot of hardcore gamers, but then I don't know like are the people who will buy the games. So
Right. A lot of
many
gamers
men
don't like a
play. Yeah, answer.
challenge. That's true. A lot of gamers are niche when it comes to games being a challenge. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't really go and
Yeah,
flock to a bunch of those type of games. They go a select audience goes for those. Not every, a lot of people want
yeah.
stuff to be typically easy. That was the best way to go about it. They want it easy.
Exactly. Like that's in the Housemarque too. Like the games that that we have created are usually for the hardcore gamers, are for the people who actually play the games and to understand the mechanisms and are well knowledgeable about things. I would say
Mm-hmm.
so that is sort of a challenge then, if you want to introduce new people to the area and have new people play the game without losing their faith in humanity.
There you go. So, just seeing the passion, the love, and Returnal. What would you say would be the best moment that you personally had when the game was being either created or at the end of production? What would be like your favorite moment with Housemarque as the game was happening? I know obviously COVID-19 it affected everybody. We couldn't really go to work. We couldn't go back to our daily routines. I had COVID-19. It was no joke, but there was some positive things are turning around slowly but surely, right? Things are turning around. Things are going back to normal. We're almost there. Probably another year we'll be back home and everything will be, or back to work and everything will be good. But will be like the best moment you personally had, like with the production of Returnal and everything.
I would say the team that I'm working in,
Okay.
the people really have great atmosphere, great we're able to speak about things openly. If we're really worn out about something, we can complain about that, and if we're making some sort of victories, then we can celebrate about that. So that's something that I've been really, really grateful, especially in these times of COVID-19, because, being at home, like in this room, and then after that, I'm back in this room,
Right.
doing stuff with different computer.
Right.
And I'm hanging out more with my two cats than with people. So I'm almost, forgetting how to speak. So it's really great to get back to see the team in face to face as well.
Right.
I think there's a lot of hidden information and like maybe secret sort of information too that you will get if you just spend enough time with other people who are there with you. And one exceptional thing in Housemarque for me is that people there are like some people there are like super intelligent. Like that humbles you so much. So.
All right. So yeah, I agree. The social interaction is what a lot of us really need for the most part in this. With games like this, when it comes to crunch, all that stuff. I know the crazy hours. It makes it that much better, especially if it's positive the way you're talking about it for Housemarque. All of you are all united in this key. So that's awesome. Since as a sound designer and everything for the game, I gotta ask you this one more question as a sound designer. Again, we already got the influence for the sound in this game, but how does one go about sound design for this for a project this big? Would you say? Would you say that it's
really
easy? Like, would you say that's an easy approach, or would you say it's more complicated than that type of thing for this? Because you got to program not just for the game, right? Not just for the PS5 and the TVs, but you got to do it for these and all that. What was the process like for PS5?
Yeah. So, do you know that the leader of the sound team can give a much more profound answer to that?
Okay.
The part where what I was doing was like first in the haptics, then I was doing some weapon sounds, some monster sounds, and then at one point I was doing more of the environment stuff and like positioning the audio into different levels
right. Like the sound
sort of stuff, and also filming. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly, and then also filming and stuff for marketing, for the actual Foley stuff. The Toivo Kallio, the guy who was doing the actual live recordings, the crazy guy, kudos to him, because he actually went that far that if you want to go outside the field somewhere where it's raining and then you switch the specific button, you can hear the raindrops there. And he actually had a motorcycle helmet that was then used with contact mics and then used with water to give you actual feeling of being inside that helmet.
Oh, that's cool.
So I would say the crazy amount of level of detail that these guys have done it's amazing.
That is awesome. You do feel that in the rain area. You feel like this claustrophobic type of echo. You know what I mean? Like when you have something on your head, you feel like that echo in your head. That's cool. Wow, I didn't think they did that. I thought that was something that you guys were like you built from scratch type of thing. But that's cool that you actually simulated it, made it real in a sense. That's cool.
There's a lot of stuff like that. Yeah. Thank you. And also like different environments. Like if you're thinking about the first world, and then if you're thinking about the swamp later on, what sort of creatures change their sound-wise as well? What sort of creatures stop moving or giving specific sort of sounds? Like some birds are out, some what do you say? Small insects are out.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, and so on. So.
Oh, that is awesome.
There's a lot of stuff there.
You sound like you had a blast making this game, that's for sure. And honestly, it really shows in just the finished product. And let me just say, man, first of all, thank you so much for coming through. I had an absolute treat talking to you. It's awesome. It's been an awesome hour. I know you were nervous coming on. I reached out to you short notice, but I really am humbled that you came through. And I'm even more happy for all of you over there at Housemarque that the game is actually doing well. It's getting good reviews, and a lot of gamers are even enjoying the fact that we're going, quote unquote, back to the 90s style of play with this one in 2021. Obviously, the newer gamers, they're not going to understand this. They've been spoiled by autosaves. They've been spoiled by manual saves. This game is like, guys, we're from an era where if you died, you go all the way back to phase 1. and you work your way back
Yeah.
to phase 3 if you were already there. So that's how it is. But seriously, Rudolf, thank you so much for coming through. I really do appreciate it. Where can the people
This was
find
fun.
you? I'm sorry. What's it?
Oh yeah, so social medias, you can find me on Instagram, Rustoga. I'm also on Twitter, but I really rarely use that. So I would say Instagram maybe is the one.
Yeah,
That's
he's on
for
there every day.
the exactly. That's about it. Like Instagram would be my one place to go to, but I rarely post anything or speak about game stuff because I respect the industry and I respect
Right.
and want to have the opinions are usually and always known, so I don't want to mess with anything or say anything I shouldn't.
Okay. That's awesome, man. Well, I'm glad you had fun. That's the first thing. That's the first thing we did. So I'm glad you had fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. That's what the concept of this is: bring people in here, bring them together, get to see what's it like to build such an awesome game. Guys, Returnal. If you guys have not played Returnal, if you have not seen me stream Returnal, I recommend you buy and support Returnal. It's one of those games that takes you back. It takes me back to my childhood as the old school style play. Yeah, it could have load screen. I mean, it could have save points. It could have auto saves. But that takes away from the experience. That takes away from what this game is trying to build. You got to go back to your roots at some point when you're gaming, and especially as long as we have. I'm 28, people, so I've been around for a hot minute in this gaming industry, let me tell you, when it comes to playing these games. But thank you so much. I want to say big thank you again to Housemarque for even allowing this to happen. I know you had to ask permission, so shout out to them. I got to shout those guys out for this opportunity. Thank you. If they're watching, thank you for watching. And everybody else in the chat, hopefully you guys enjoyed this conversation. We're definitely going to have them on again at some point. We'll definitely reach out and see if we can get them on here. Maybe in the future, maybe in a few months or so. I don't know. We'll see how things go, how the schedule is. I know you're a busy guy, so let's see how it is.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, guys, we'll see you guys